Please, you can have your seats. The Honorable Camille Robinson Regis, other distinguished members of the Cabinet, ladies and gentlemen, specially invited guests, kings, queens, everyone viewing at home, good evening. My name is Jaron Remy, also known as DJ Rockus, and my job this evening is a humbling one, if I do say so myself, because I get to take you on this journey as we celebrate emancipation right here at the Diplomatic Center. Of course, we all know, unfortunately, the Prime Minister couldn't be with us this evening. However, we can still celebrate, because this evening we're here to celebrate 184 years since the Emancipation Proclamation has been read. Can I get a round of applause for that, please? This evening, we celebrate life, we celebrate triumph, we celebrate freedom. And even though the Prime Minister couldn't be here, we have the pleasure this evening of having the Minister of Housing and Urban Development to greet us with some words this evening. So please put your hands together and welcome the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis.
Thank you very kindly for that warm welcome. My Cabinet colleagues, His Grace the Archbishop of Trinidad and Tobago, members of local government, including mayors and chairmen, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin by offering sincerest apologies for the absence of the Honorable Prime Minister, who, as you know, has tested positive for COVID, but I must hasten to add, is experiencing very mild symptoms and is doing very well. In his ongoing desire to do right by the citizens of this great republic, he has, of course, been quarantined, and so has the family. And on my behalf and on your behalf, I would like to send our prayers and best wishes to him and his family for a speedy and fulsome recovery. It is interesting to note that apart from the multiple fetes that have taken place since the lifting of the COVID-19 restrictions, this Emancipation Day celebration is the first national gathering to take place. Like you, I look forward to the return of the Emancipation Day celebrations and the procession that will take place on Monday, as well as the now opened Lij Yasu Omawale village at the Queen's Park Savannah. I take this opportunity to encourage all of you to visit and patronize the businesses of our Black entrepreneurs, all gathered in one space. Ladies and gentlemen, on the occasion of Emancipation celebrations in 2020, our Prime Minister said the following, and I quote, "Today is traditionally a glorious commemoration, one of celebration and jubilee throughout Trinidad and Tobago for all people of African heritage, and rightly so. When we look back across the centuries at the atrocities and wrenching pain which our foreparents suffered during that time, what should be assessed as a time that was the darkest period in human history, it seems mandatory that we celebrate the measures of freedom we now enjoy." He added, and I continue to quote, "It is for this reason that I believe August 1st should not just be a day of celebration for all people of this country, but rather one of profound reflection for our common Caribbean history and the region's contribution to world civilization, later turning our collective thoughts to this country's future in the world of the 21st century. End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, for nearly 400 years, approximately 12 million African children, women, and men were abducted and trafficked to the Caribbean, North and South America. Millions more of their descendants continued to be enslaved for generations, experiencing extreme violence, family separation, and the suppression of religious beliefs and practices. Enslavement denied the dignity of every person, robbing them not just of their personhood, but the very essence of who they were, their names, their families, their religious and cultural beliefs and practices. None of the other persons transplanted into the Caribbean region experienced in as calamitous a way as the African slave. The deprivation of rights and liberties associated with free persons. And whilst some of us still carry the names of our slave masters, we do not do so with shame, but to remind ourselves and succeeding generations of the resilience and creativity of our African ancestors who survived more than whips and chains, and therefore will survive the slings and arrows thrown at us by those who today, in their delusion, believe themselves to be our betters. History records that all other populations transplanted into the colonies arrived under strict contractual arrangements. That included, among other provisions, grants of land, payment of wages, and even, in some cases, repatriation fees, or the option to return home. None of this was afforded the African slave. And whilst many misguided revisionists have attempted to equate African slavery with so many other types of oppression, they cite oppression and exploitation as the common denominator. The two were never the same. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor Emancipation Day is to honor those whose resistance and perseverance, whose solidarity brought slavery to an end. We must also honor those whose resilience continues to call for an end to the legacy of racism and discrimination that denies the full human dignity of every person. Emancipation Day, therefore, must be more than donning African clothing and accessories. There are many who have spoken about the African communities in a manner that does not behoove the community. We must, therefore, profess and believe in the spirits of our ancestors, but we must also understand the reality of what faces us today. Emancipation, therefore, is a day for celebration. Emancipation, therefore, is a day when all the vestiges of the spirit of freedom must be made whole. Emancipation, therefore, is a time that we must cherish and a time we must respect each other's views and beliefs, never succumbing to resentment or hate, never succumbing to resentment for what took place, but always believing in the inalienable right of all peoples. Freedom must never be something we arrogate to ourselves whilst denying the same to others. As we recognize Emancipation Day together this year, I invite you to pray with me. God of liberation, we offer our prayers of thanksgiving and praise. You have heard the cries of the oppressed and given freedom. May we remember all of the ancestors who longed for liberty, and may we have the courage, strength, and fortitude to continue striving for social justice and equity in the present day. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Minister. Fitting words to start off this evening, don't you think? We're here for resilience. We're definitely here for celebration this evening. And we're going to do a lot of that this evening. So I encourage you to sit back, relax. It's going to be a fantastic concert. Of course, we're streaming live across the nation tonight. So we have a front seat view of the best concert in town for this evening. Of course, put on by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We thank him very much for it. Now, August 1st, 1838 is when they declared slavery abolished. 151 years later, Trinidad and Tobago became the first country to declare Emancipation Day a national holiday, leading the way. I think that deserves a round of applause as well. One of the things that we celebrate on Emancipation Day is the culture that was brought here by the Africans. Even though they were enslaved, they still continued to make sure and persevere. They made sure that they were resilient. They made sure to be able to preserve their heritage, even though it was tweaked along the way, because, of course, slave masters made sure that they learned their language. But Africans, being resilient, decided, we'll tweak their language and mix in piece of our language and just make the whole thing a nice mix-up. And we end up with that, and we see it still to this very day. We see it in the way that we dress, in the way that we walk, in our music, of course. And this evening, we're here to celebrate with some music. So I want to take this moment to kind of just explore the possibilities, because think about it. When they would have come, there was no documentation. There was no, we're going to write this down and give it to your children. It was all passed on in the oral tradition over generations and generations. Now, one of the best parts about emancipation is that we have the ability to now say that we're going to document these things. We're going to be able to put them in writing so that the world can see what we know, even though we all know it's part of what's in you, rather than just being able to document it. But we've been finding ways to do it. And we've been finding ways to teach people about the traditions, about the culture, to pass it on from generation to generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce a group that's been doing that for 28 years. The leader of the group is a teacher for 31 years. Her name, Lois Lewis. The name of the group, Jeune Agape. Put your hands together and welcome them to the stage.
Happy day, oh happy day, when Jesus washed, when Jesus washed, when Jesus washed, He washed my sins away. Happy day, oh happy day, oh happy day, when Jesus washed, when Jesus washed, when my Jesus washed my sins away. Oh happy day,
Lois Lewis and Jean Agape, ladies and gentlemen, representing Point Fortin. I know the mayor of Point Fortin is with us this evening and is beaming with pride. I mentioned earlier that Trinidad and Tobago was the first country in the entire world to celebrate Emancipation Day as a national public holiday. What I didn't mention is that particularly in Point Fortin, they were the first place to celebrate emancipation. So give them a round of applause in Point Fortin, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one of the things that's really important, right, is that two of the main players who fought for us to be able to have Emancipation Day as a public holiday was one, a rapso artist by the name of Lancelot Kebu Lane, the first rapso artist of all time, as far as the recording show. Alongside him was Mr. John Cupid, and they both celebrated, right? And they brought the celebrations down to Point Fortin and made sure everybody had a time. But it's important for us to note the power of the orator. Again, we see rapso artists taking the lead and saying, I'm going to fight for this, and we're going to do it and do it the right way. And here we are. Here we are now, so many years later, and we're able to celebrate, freely able to celebrate at the Diplomatic Center, for starters. But the oration aspect of African heritage and African culture is so important. We saw a little taste of it just now when it comes to, choirs and being able to come together in community and sing and chant and make a joyful noise and pass on the messages. But there are different ways that we pass on messages. I mentioned rapso. Rapso is the power of the word in the rhythm of the word. Rapso artists have been using their stage, their platform, to be able to deliver messages of hope, messages of freedom, messages of resistance, messages of resilience. Over the years, we've seen orators take different forms. We also have people who are storytellers. Now, Africans are great at storytelling. It's part of the culture, it's a part of the heritage, it's part of how we pass on information from one generation to the next generation. Over the years, we've seen people like Miguel Brown and Paul Keynes Douglas take the stage and tell us these stories about ourselves and give us a reflection of ourselves. In recent times, we've seen spoken word artists take the stage and give us that same mirror reflection of ourselves and each other. This evening, I would like to welcome to the stage young artist, young author, poet, and spoken word artist, Kayla Paris.
All are we is one. All are we is one. All are we is one. Correct? No. Wrong. Because since the dawn of time, we were taught to believe that one is better than the other kind. No such thing as equality. Someone or something must always maintain superiority. A form of slavery is still shown in modern times. It still matters if you're male or female, black or white. It's like living in a period of indentureship, but this time, instead of just being for the Indian population, we all get a taste of it. Because all the races are separated in their own community. We see it everywhere. In the home, in the school, especially politically. Here in Trinidad, we preach about being one nation. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing but segregation. Back then, the torture the blacks endured, kidnappings, beatings, who knows what more. You expect them to not hold grudges after being put on that middle passage? Deaths with few left to salvage. August 1838 should have been a save the dates for freedom while awaited, but somehow they managed to continue slavery for a couple of wages, poor conditions, and limited resource. This new system still done by force. Centuries have passed and this disease still can't be cured. We are living in a different era. We have the resources and technology to help everyone and their brother, but still the selfishness runs in our veins. It's like nothing we do can break this chain. No respect for each other's cultural beliefs or religious identities. Wars created over what gods to worship. Little do they know all religions preach building kinship. Ironic, isn't it? This top agent in the socialization process causing separation at its finest. We can't afford to trust each other. Look what happened when Columbus made that offer. The indigenous were the ones to suffer. Should have never trusted that encomienda. Generation after generation taught not to trust each each other. Don't dwell on the past, but people, the past shapes the future. We all have something to share. It's music, it's languages, it's sports, it's different ideas. Look at all the diversity being shoved aside by adversities. Black, white, mixed, does it really matter? We are different in color, but all human in nature. I'm writing this piece to send a message that you and me should become we. Because yes, individuality is all good and well, but sometimes we need each other's help. We need to put conflicts aside, come together and be unified. We are all one people, one earth. Let's cultivate a rebirth. Think of all the things we could achieve. The greatness, the positivity, the peace. With all this history and backstory being said, I have given my opinion. I think we need to show a greater appreciation for this country's emancipation. Because listen, nobody could take one race anymore. There's no such thing as a lineage that's pure. Our ancestors cultivated this web that we continue more and more, a mixing pot of every race under the sun. And you telling me, all are we? Can be one? Thank you.
Kayla Paris, ladies and gentlemen, keeping the oral tradition alive and well. Now, we have a wide range of things that we can call culture, right? A culture is who you are. It's a part of you. We celebrate it when it comes to song, when it comes to dance, when it comes to movement, when it comes to food, when it comes to such a wide variety of things. And this evening, we have the pleasure of showcasing some of these things. One of the things I mentioned earlier was the ability for community organizations to become legit organizations that can have structure, that could pass on information from generation to generation, that can document things, that can now start to become respected members of society. Now, previously, communities would get together and they would pass on that information, they would celebrate, they would have religious practices, they would have songs, they would have dance, but sometimes not be recognized. This company I'm about to bring onto stage has definitely stamped their name into all of our hearts. I feel like we all know them. And if you don't, tonight you get to meet them for the first time. Which is not going to be the first time. But they've been able to celebrate in their community. They've been able to bring themselves out of the community and tour the world. They've been able to put African heritage, culture, art, dance on display. They've been able to pass on legacy of drumming from masters to juniors over several generations. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, we get a chance to take a peek, a small peek, into how we celebrate right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Please welcome to the stage the Malik Folk Performing Company.
Tawana,
The Malik Folk Performing Company, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a bigger round of applause than that. We see on the stage this evening, legacy. That is living legacy. I don't know if you guys saw it. Master drummer Kempis stood up behind watching his students. I don't know if you could see the pride that was coming out of him, but it was oozing out for us in the back there. Since yesterday, we've been seeing it. Give them a round of applause, the young drummers of the Malik Folk Performing Company. Of course, the entire Folk Performing Company. My goodness. Now, I mentioned a few times already the oral tradition, and we're going to see it yet again because it's been evolving, it's been growing. We've been harnessing that power and being able to transmit it across the world. We've seen our music, Calypso music, take the world by storm. The first music in the world to sell 1 million copies was Calypso. The very first music. And let me be honest, Calypso is a part of we. It's a part of all of us. It's a part of our DNA. For example, if I were to say to you, can you hear a distant drum bouncing off the laughter of a melody? You would say? All right, all right with it. I guess some ears on this side. I find this side and give me, you want more? I know you want more in that. Does the rhythm tell you, come, 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 come? Does your spirit do a dance to this symphony? Does it tell you that your heart is on fire? Does it tell you that your pain is a liar? I can't sing, but does it wash away all your ungodlies? Well, are you ready, ladies and gentlemen, for this brand new discovery? We're talking about what? Oh gosh, boy, look at that. Give me a little more enthusiasm than that. We're talking about what? Yeah, man. I want to welcome to the stage this evening the former Independence Monarch for 2012, former National Calypso Monarch 2014 and 2015. Put your hands together and welcome Chuck Gordon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Independence to you. All protocols observed. Yeah, I believe in you. Tobago, this one's blessed twin island, Godfather of the whole Caribbean. All them neighbors used to look up at me. Now they hardly taking a serious thing, you see, because we going through some hard times. The axe getting harder to grind. Although we going down a slippery slope, I would never ever give up hope. because I don't believe that any politician should succeed in dividing this nation. I don't believe in all the gloom, nor the prophecies of doom. Divided we all shall fall, so time to heed a nation's call. I say I don't believe that the solution lies in the hands of the trade union. But I believe that we will come back, and I believe in the red, white, and black. I believe that we will pull through. Sing! Cause Trinidad and Tobago. If you know, sing with me, people. I believe in you. Yes, my people. I believe in you. But yo, as soon as things start getting a little harder, I see people seeking greener pastures. People who I thought would have stay and fight. See them hustling to get on the first flight, so trite. But I not abandoning ship, no way. Cause I on board for the whole trip. Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that I'm not alone. So let's work hard and rebuild our home. Because I do believe the preacher on the pulpit is more sacred than the imam and pundit. No one race is superior to feel they could rule forever, using us for fortune and fame, making us pawns in the chess game. I say I don't believe my people so mad to follow them casa, stealing the race card. But I believe that we will come back, and I believe in the red, white, and black. I believe that we will push through. Sing with me. Cause Trinidad and Tobago, we say, I believe in you. Yes, my people, I believe in you. But yo, I don't believe that this nation could be held to ransom, and that no Trin Begonian has a better vision. I don't believe that my people would sit and allow evil, and no patriotic Trini would put party before country. All who say they're not putting party before the country, let me see one finger, please. One finger. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I believe that you will come back, and I believe in the red, white, and black. I believe that we will pull through. Why? Cause Trinidad and Tobago, we say, I believe in you. Yes, my people, I believe in you. Yes, my people, I believe in you. I believe you. Somebody say, yeah, yeah. Happy Emancipation once again, as our MC continues to remind us 184 years. That was a 2015 Calypso Monarch offering of mine. The next song I want to do for you is from another Calypso Monarch, one of the all-time greats. He goes by the name of Dr. Leroy Calypso, the Black Stallion. Round of applause, please. And then the next song he says, they try slavery, they try imperialism, colonialism, even a new form of colonialism. And no matter what they try, more come. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, Master Drummer Xavier Phillips, Mr. DJ. Yeah! Feel free to take a little shake in the chair, right? All in TV land, bless up to you. More come, more come, more come. 1986 was the year. For 400 years now and over, all them superpower tried to invade Africa. Yes, they went down there with all the lust and the greed. But don't care how they try, they still can't succeed. Yes, they kill and keep killing. But the more that they kill, the more they see coming. But when they try and they can't make hand with African. They just pack up the bag and they're gone to the land. Why? the more Africans they gun down. Yes, the more Africans will come. The more warriors that they kill. Yes, the more we see come instead. They kill Zulu. More come. They kill Juju. More come. They kill Ashanti. More come. I know what to see. More come. What I'm belly. More come. What I'm belly. More come. The more Africans that they gun down. More come. More come. More come. Let me hear you. Louder. Say. More come. Keep it. More come. The more. Hey. More come. More come. We get back Mozambique so easy. Zimbabwe and Angola already. And if it's one thing I sure know as ever, South Africa and Namibia around the corner. Yes, it's one bomb they drop on Hiroshima, and they get the whole of Japan to surrender. And for 200 years, red toe down in reservation. But for 400 years, they still can subdue African. Why? The more Africans they get down, the more Africans will tell them. The more warriors that they kill, is the more we see come instead. They kill Juju, more come. And Yahuru, more come. They kill Watusi, more come. They kill Mali, more come. They kill Toga, more come. And Yoruba, more come. The more Africans that they gun down, more come, more come. More and if the black man was here, what kind of dance would I give you? More come, more come, alive, more come, sing, more come. The more Africans that they gun down, more yeah, my boss, more come. They deal with Lumumba long ago. Yes, they deal with Mumuya and Steve Biko. Yes, they keep killing leader after leader. But don't care how much they kill, Africans won't surrender. So how come them same people want to tell me Africans today have no unity? Well, I know they go say I'm drunk, they go say I'm mad. But one day Africans will be living under one flag. Why? The more Africans they get down, and the more Africans will come. The more warriors that they kill, the more they keep coming instead. They kill Juju, more come. And Yahuru, more come. They kill Mali, more come. They kill Musi, more come. They kill Toga, more come. And Yoruba, more come. The more Africans that they gun down, more come. More get them thing, more come. More come, more come, more come, more come, more come. The more Africans that they gone down, more come, more come. Yeah. Love to the Black Stallion. Thank you, Master Drummer. Anyway you stand, Black Stallion. Love, love. Ladies and gentlemen, the next song I want to do for you, it's called the dedication, but it is also a dedication to our recent Order of the Caribbean Community recipient, Dr. David Michael Ruther. Round of applause for that again. Yes, yes. And in this song, he gives a dedication to the Pan Man. Now the reason why I chose this song is simply this. The steel pan represents our creativity through resilience and resistance. Because when they band the African drum, as you just saw, them fellas and them tune up the tambour bamboo. And from the tambour bamboo, Ellie Manette and Bertie Marshall and Winston Spree Simon and them fellas say, hey, that is not enough. Steel pan. So to help me with this one, I want to invite two young, promising panists from the Desperados Steel Orchestra, Dijon Kane and the Nigel Forbes. We're going to do this one called Dedication. In the spirit of emancipation, somebody say, yeah, yeah. Let's go. And I want to hear some voices, eh? Well, you can't get away this evening. Come on, come on. This story tells us the truth. Out of pain, this culture was born. From life's shadow places, the magic was spawned. And when the tribes they regrouped again, fought their wars on a brand new plane. And through their strife, their manhood was reborn. And so from all this bacchanal, life is now a festival. And you can hear the children sing. Oh, it is singing, this praise song was written for the Panman. To all those who show their dedication. Out of yesterday's election, on a one to a new perfection. From a hunger came a feel. From that fear we shared the steel. So we sing the sound of praise for those who help to clear the path that we can see through. So now we children, they have a source. So very trendy going on a path. Out of a muddy pond, 10,000 flowers bloom. Get them! I say we must have no fear.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Take the music everywhere.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
We've got to be brave and bold.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Free the music from the soul.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because a land that is firm and strong is the one that will move along. Listen to my verse. Not one name, not one will I call, because the name of you would make the others look small. But I know when they hear the song, it will keep them proud and strong. And a once-with a man will just shrug and sing along. And anytime we catch him doing that, we could beat Peaches, and that's a fact. Cause we know this song would never be in vain. Well, we sing it. This praise song was written for the Panman. To all those who show their dedication. Out of yesterday's rejection, on a one to one new perfection. From a hunger came a, from that fear we shared the steel. So we sing the sounds of praise for those who, what they do? Help to clear the path that them could see through. So now them children, they have a source. So very trendy, go on a pond. Out of a muddy pond, 10,000 flowers bloom. And this is the message. I say we must have no fear.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Play the music everywhere.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
We've got to be brave and bold.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Free the music from the soul.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because a land that is firm and strong is the one that will move along. You ready for me? Give me something. I'm a boy right hand, I'm a boy right hand. And between the wrist and the rubber, there is a new truth to discover. That new melody, glorious song of song. Well, let them play it.
This song was written for the Panman. For all those who show their dedication.
Go on now. Right up. Some noise for Dijon Kane, ladies and gentlemen. Wow! And Nigel Forbes. So that we get them one more chorus, right? How we go?
This praise song was written for the Panman. To all those who show their dedication.
Out of yesterday's rejection, on a one-to-one new perfection. From a hunger came a feel. From that field we shaped the steel.
So we sing the songs of praise of those who help to clear the path that we can see through.
So now them children, they have a source. So very trendy, on your out of a muddy pond. 10,000 flowers bloom. I say we must have no fear.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shop Gordon. Enjoy the rest of your Emancipation celebrations. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Freedom is from the sea. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Because the children, they have a source. So very true, they go on a fall.
10,000 flowers bloom.
Chuck Gordon, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing Calypso to the front and, of course, celebrating the doctors. Talking about Dr. Leroy Callis, the Black Stallion, as well as Dr. David Michael Rudder. Can you give him a round of applause again? One of the beautiful things about Calypso is that we can learn so much of our own history just by listening to Calypsos. I remember the first time I heard about certain people was through Black Stallion burning them out when he was by the gate with St. Peter. Along the way, we also learn about stories of Lavantil, of Belmont from David Rudder. We learn all sorts of things through Calypso. I want to tell you a little story, though. You ever heard of a man called Congo Brown? No? I recently heard of Congo Brown. He was enslaved on a plantation in Tobago. Now, legend has it that Congo Brown possessed supernatural powers. What he could do is that every time he was whipped by his slave masters, he was able to transfer that whipping, the pain, to the slave master's wife. I don't know what kind of supernatural power that is, but he was also able to turn people into stone, allegedly. This is what the legend says. The legend also says that he was able to take a bamboo and stretch up and touch the moon. I'm selling it as I buy it. I didn't make up none of this. This is the legend, they say, of Congo Brown. But one of the best parts of the story is that he had this feeling, this inclination, this message that he had to give to people, that freedom was coming. So he would go around to different plantations and he would tell them all that freedom was coming. And when freedom came, everybody said, but wait, Congo Brown knew exactly what he was talking about. And they regarded him as a hero. Now that pattern of going from place to place and telling stories is still very much alive today. I want to introduce to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, a band that flew in all the way from Tobago to make sure to be a part of this celebration here this evening. Please put your hands together for Youthquake Performing Company.
Today to celebrate with all you on this auspicious occasion and reminisce a little about we emancipation. You see this country, this sweet auntie, this beautiful woman draped in red, white, and black wasn't always free from Africa. We ancestors come here in chains. They was beaten and left out in the rain. But throughout all the pain, they said to themselves, you see this? Never again. Drag your bone, Mr. Fiddler. Your bone, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, hi. Happy year, Valentine. Happy year. Happy, I say, amid me, great commander, right here. Drag your bone, Mr. Fiddler. they finally set we free. So, you better show enough respect to our ancestry. Cause if it wasn't for them warriors who rise up and fight for our, all you won't be sitting down there, skinning your teeth and watching me drag your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Stop your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, hi. Appear, Robin. Appear, icy to meet me, Valentine. Right here. Drag your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, hi. Happy Emancipation Day to all and sundry. The day where we celebrate long-standing strength and bravery. Today, we must come together to honor our ancestors' triumph, a testament of their unyielding spirit and resilience. So ring the bells and bang the drums to commemorate the obtaining of our freedom. But never let it be debated that we needed consent to be emancipated, because our spirits and mind have always been and always will be liberated. Drag your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Stop your bomb, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, hi. Appear so boy. Appear I say for me, Robin, right here. Drag your bomb, Mr. Fiddler.
Stop your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, hi. A history of pain and agony that we face, and some of our own national leaders choose to disgrace with slave master rhetoric, claiming that we done our way, and with some of our own black artists singing, come down from there. But, brothers and sisters, do not be dismayed, cause emancipation is our freedom and pride portrayed. With black excellence on the rise throughout my sweet nation, tell all the naysayers, put on the punching and unify our population. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Stop your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, hi. Appear, pool. Appear, I say, and meet me, show boy. Right here. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
Oh, Mr. Fiddler, oh, hi. I want to thank all our we ancestors who fight for we freedom so all our we can prosper. Never mind we had to take we name from we slave master. Today, we had the best lawyer, doctor, and even contractor. Just take a good look at we Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, a perfect example of resilience and bravery. But don't forget about his musical ability. Somebody touched me. Somebody touched me. Drag your boy, Mr. Fiddler.
The Youthquake Performing Company, ladies and gentlemen. Straight out of Tobago, the Tobago Speech Band. Yeah, man. Good vibes every single time. It's only Tobagonians can make them kind of jokes, you know. If I make them kind of jokes, it's a whole different story. Good. Are you enjoying yourself so far this evening? Lovely. Now, what's very interesting to me is that across the world, we see African music now as pop music. We see Afrobeats taking over the world. The other day, half the country fly across the Barbados just to see Burna Boy. People have been flocking to fill stadiums to hear Afrobeats. And some people decide that they're going to look into their heritage as a result of this. Some people are so influenced by celebrating Emancipation Day every single year that they go looking further for more answers. The next group is one such group. And in looking for answers, they found their answers in West Africa, in Guinea. Their name means happy to play. And they're one of those organizations that has come together to put music and dance together, to be able to celebrate their culture, to be able to celebrate African culture, African heritage, African history. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor this evening to raise the tempo a little bit. And if you want to get up and dance, you can feel free to do so. Don't let me stop you. Don't let them cameras and things stop you. If you want to get up and dance, feel free, because I see you looking very, very lovely in your African outfits and garments tonight. So give yourself a round of applause firstly. Yes, yes, you're looking good. You're looking good. I can't wait to see you stand up and shake a leg or two. But before we get there, I want to introduce to you this evening. I told you before, their name means happy to play, and you're going to see exactly how happy they are to play. Please, welcome to the stage, Wassa Foley. Ladies and gentlemen, Wassa Foley Performing Company, the powerhouse that is Wassa Foley. What a beautiful evening. Isn't it a beautiful thing to see such young, powerful black people doing something positive, encouraging, uplifting with their time? Yeah, man, they deserve a round of applause for sure. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening, because that actually was the penultimate performance here at the Diplomatic Center. And it's been my absolute honor and privilege to take you on this emancipation journey. I want to wish each and every one of you a happy Emancipation Day. I hope that you're able to reflect. I hope that you're able to celebrate. I want to leave you with a quote from Tricanal. They say in their song, Boom Up History, right? I forget the quote, no? Just now. They say, know yourself and know your history. Otherwise, you really cannot be free to boom up history. Ladies and gentlemen, we see the drum as a theme running through the entire evening this evening. And we're going to continue with that theme in our only invention for the 21st century that came out of Trinidad and Tobago. The only musical instrument to be invented in the 21st century is the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, the steel pan. So it's only fitting this evening that we bring the evening to a close with some of the national instruments. And I want to invite the members of the cabinet and their guests to please make your way across to the area we're calling the Greens, just for this evening. We'll call it the Greens, under that tent over there, and enjoy the beautiful sounds of Desperado's Steel Orchestra.
Do you have a complaint about your cell phone, landline, cable or satellite television or internet service which has not been resolved even after you've complained to your provider? If so, then call TATT, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, at our toll-free number 800-TATT. That's 800-8288 and lodge your complaint. TATT is authorized by law to investigate your complaint. So call us at 800-TATT. That's 800-8288.
This is TTT. Live for local.
Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm DK Roster. Executive Director Zakia Uzoma Wadada and Program Officer